I'm Derek Evil, and this is Addict MMA. Welcome to Addict MMA. I'm Derek Evil. This is Fight Predictions UFC 112 Invincible from Abu Dhabi. April 10th, going to be an exciting fight card. Starts off with Kendall Grove taking on Mark Munoz. This is going to be a very exciting fight. Kendall Grove, obviously a Muay Thai base with some Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Mark Munoz is a purple belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Also, a two-time high school wrestling champion and he two-time Big 12 wrestling titles. Back-to-back All-American honors, NCAA title as a senior. This guy, he's fantastic. Mark Munoz is a great wrestling base, very aggressive on the ground. A lot of his fights end in KOs. Let's get right into it. Kendall Grove, he's kind of an up-and-down performer. He's beaten top-level competitors in that Evan Tanner. You know, he's taken out guys like that before, but he's also, you know, lost to guys like, Patrick Cote. So it's not a matter of, is he good enough? It's a matter of, I think, which Kendall Grove's going to show up. Is it the Kendall Grove that can take a punch, or is it the Kendall Grove that can't take a punch? But against Mark Munoz, I don't know, man. It's kind of a tough one. Mark Munoz has not really had top-level competitors to fight against. He had Matt Hamill, which he took his first loss against with via the head kick, which really knocked him out. And then, of course, he fell into his own knee, which really messed things up for him. I'm going to go ahead and say in this fight, Kendall Grove's lankiness and ability on his back will probably make the difference here. Mark Munoz is probably going to want to put him on his back with that wrestling base. I see Kendall Grove using the fence, his legs, maybe sweeping, getting a better position, or just finding a submission from the ground. Either way, I kind of find Kendall Grove winning this fight. If it's not submission, it'll be a unanimous decision victory. Moving on to the next fight, Terry Edom takes on Rafael dos Anjos in the lightweight division. It's going to be a very exciting fight as well. Terry Edom, a vicious Muay Thai striker with great ground abilities, good submission abilities. He takes on dos Anjos, who is a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt and has won, decision victories over certain fighters such as Rob Emerson, Kyle Bradley, but he's got losses to guys like Tyson Griffin and Jeremy Stevens via that uppercut. So, a heavier striker might be the difference for dos Anjos. If it was a strict ground game, if he's able to get the fight to the ground, he might be able to eke out a win over Terry Edom. However, I feel that Terry Edom's, I think his ground game is just phenomenal. I mean, you could put the guy in the ground and you could almost damn near knock him out, and he'll still find a way to defeat you. But his vicious Muay Thai style, I think, is going to be a little much for Rafael dos Anjos to handle, and I think that fight will end in a second-round TKO. Moving on to Matt Hughes taking on Renzo Gracie. This is an exciting fight. Yeah, kind of exciting, kind of not. I mean, they obviously advertise Renzo Gracie, as one of the greatest of all time. Anybody with a Gracie name basically gets to be called, the greatest. Matt Hughes, dude, I completely see him dominating this fight. Renzo is not Royce Gracie, but the jiu-jitsu is just about the same. I mean, these guys are phenomenal. It's a Gracie family thing. They're going to be great at jiu-jitsu. However, Matt Hughes has shown us that his jiu-jitsu is just as good, if not better, than that of a Gracie family member. So basically what it gets down to is Renzo Gracie's stand-up is very, very dull, and he's had some fights where he's looked pretty decent with a stand-up. I don't think so. I think it looks pretty dull and not very effective. His last fight wasn't even recent. It was against Frank Shamrock a couple years ago at Strikeforce on Showtime, and that was, if anybody saw that fight, it was an embarrassing, boring fight for both guys. Frank Shamrock was basically holding him down. It was kind of a wrestling match. In the end, it was just turned into a grappling match, and then Frank Shamrock got pissed and, threw a couple of light illegal knees to the back of Renzo's head. I think Renzo Gracie kind of played off the injury like it was worse than it really was so that he could get the easy victory, because the whole time Frank Shamrock was in his ear saying, hey, the minute this fight stands up, buddy, I'm going to knock your ass out. So let's just go ahead and end it. And I don't think Renzo wanted anything to do with that, so he won over Frank Shamrock via disqualification. Matt Hughes is going to pound Renzo Gracie's head into the mat. I think it's going to be the same thing that happened to Royce Gracie all over again. These guys, the Gracies, don't like to tap out, especially to a white American guy. So what I'm going to go for here is not a racist thing. So I can already see you guys go, oh, this guy's racist. Shut up. No, I completely see this as Matt Hughes' domination. I don't think Renzo Gracie is really going to do much in the way of damaging Matt Hughes or his career. So Matt Hughes, I'm going to say decision victory. I mean, obviously, Matt Hughes is getting a little older. He's fighting less, and I think it slows him down a bit. His fight with Matt Serra, the younger Matt Hughes might have been more exciting, but now as he gets a little older and he's thinking of other things, I think he wants to do a hunting reality show or some weird shit like that. But I see Matt Hughes taking this fight by decision, dominate over Renzo Gracie. Moving on to the lightweight championship. This is very exciting. Frankie Edgar takes on BJ Penn for BJ Penn's gold strap. This is cool because, well, Frankie Edgar is about the only guy left in a division that is, worth fighting for the title. I mean, other than Ken Flo, I think, honest to God, I just watched Ken Flo tap out Takanori Gomi, and it was a phenomenal performance. He was eating him up with the jab, and I think Ken Flo should just be given title shots every fight. They should just, if he's not fighting for a belt, then he shouldn't have to fight at all, because the man is phenomenal, and the only guys he's lost to in the last 5 years would be Diego Sanchez, Sean Shirk, and then recently BJ Penn, which he went 4 rounds, and that's hard to do. So anyway, back to the focus at hand here. Frankie Edgar, I like him. They call him the answer. I'm not so sure. I don't think he's going to be the answer here against BJ Penn. I think BJ Penn's stand-up is way better than it ever used to be. Now that he's adding head kicks finally to his repertoire, as he did against Diego Sanchez when he split Sanchez's head wide open, that was phenomenal. Because that fight I kept going, even in the video game, UFC Undisputed 2009, BJ Penn doesn't throw head kicks. But all night I kept seeing that right head kick open up for him, and then he finally took it against Diego Sanchez. His stand-up is getting better and better and better, and obviously BJ Penn's jiu-jitsu, there's no question about how great his jiu-jitsu is. Frankie Edgar, on the other hand, is a purple belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but more notably, as a college wrestler, he was always making nationals. Every year that he was in college, he made nationals. His MMA record is a list of extremely awesome fighters. And, like I said, he's only lost to one time to one guy. But his list of victories are over guys such as Mark Bocek, Spencer Fisher, Tyson Griffin, Jim Miller, and Hermes Franca. So this is a laundry list of accolades, of accomplishments. It's not like he went out and fought me 10 times. He went out and fought real top-level guys and has defeated them all. So, he's definitely the best, competition for BJ Penn right now. After this, I think that the next title fight should be with Ken Flo. Whoever wins between Frankie Edgar and BJ Penn should have to put their title up against Ken Flo. However, this one, I'm going to have to say, dude, you know what? 3 rounds, BJ Penn. 3 rounds, absolutely. I don't know that it'll go 5 rounds. It could go 4. Frankie Edgar's very good. His stand-up is very aggressive. He's been working on his jiu-jitsu a lot in preparation for the BJ Penn fight. But, I think you can work on everything all day long. It's going to take something special to beat BJ Penn. And unfortunately for Frankie Edgar, his answer is not going to come that night. BJ Penn, 3rd round, TKO. And then moving on to the main event, middleweight championship of the world, Demian Maia takes on the champion Anderson Silva. I can't wait, because you know what, guys? Demian Maia, he's the top submission grappler in the world at middleweight division. Multiple Jiu-Jitsu World Championships. He has grappled with the likes of guys like Yushin Okami that still are in the UFC, but he's grappled in tournaments against those guys. Like I said, world champion Jiu-Jitsu artist. This is going to be he's got no stand-up, absolutely 0 stand-up. He tries, and he's not afraid to get in there and bang, and I like that about Demian Maia. However, obviously Anderson Silva's stand-up is better than anybody in the entire universe's stand-up. So the question is, when and how is Demian Maia going to take it from standing to the ground? Obviously, he doesn't have the greatest takedown abilities. He's a jiu-jitsu guy through and through. And a lot of these really great jiu-jitsu guys, you'll find out, are more susceptible or more apt to pull in a guard rather than actually shooting a double leg or a single leg, taking you down. They want to just wrap up and pull you into guard, and that's kind of what Demian Maia does. And against a guy like Anderson Silva, if you don't have superior takedown abilities, you're probably not going to get him to the ground. You can pull guard all day, but Anderson Silva's takedown offense is amazing no matter what way you try to take him down. Trains with the Nogueira twins. Are you kidding me? This guy is phenomenal. Anderson Silva's Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu has always been underestimated, yet he has tapped out guys like Dan Henderson, and he's tapped out Travis Lutter, guys that were supposed to be superiorly dominant on the ground and almost finished Anderson Silva on the ground have ended up being finished by his Jiu-Jitsu. I can see the same thing happening to Demian Maia. Maybe not as much as it did Dan Henderson, but, I could definitely see Anderson Silva surprising Maia. Maia probably thinking his jiu-jitsu is so wonderful and so awesome that there's nothing that Anderson Silva can do about it, which I beg to differ. Anderson Silva is the best, and for a reason, because he can go to any level of competition and destroy you. But like I said, I don't really see this fight going much to the ground. I don't see Demian Maia taking down Anderson Silva. I don't see him getting through the strikes to get to the takedown. I see Anderson Silva picking him apart. And for the love of God, Anderson Silva, from me to you, don't let this be another fight. Patrick Cote, Don't let it be one of those where you just drag it out like you're sparring with him. I don't want to. Just destroy this guy in the first or second round, please. Thank you. So anyway, my prediction for that fight, Anderson Silva, Damian Maia, second round, TKO, Anderson Silva. That has been UFC 112 Invincible Fight Predictions. I want to thank everybody for watching. Thanks for being patient with me and, hanging on until I can. Well, I just had some technical difficulties, so we'll play back that video and see how it worked out.